I will be actually sharing two articles with you guys. One is coming from Times of Israel newspaper. The other one is coming from Al Jazeera. When I took a look at both of these articles, I found some discrepancy in terms of what is going to be the first phase of the Gaza plan. Nevertheless, it is quite obvious and clear after doing some reading, to me at least, that America, United States, and Israel is not going to be part of this Gaza plan anymore. So I want to actually read the first article from Al Jazeera. So see what they're saying. They're saying that a first 6-month phase would focus on early recovery, okay, quote unquote, early recovery, and the removal of debris, he said. So who said it? It is again reported on Al Jazeera. This is coming from Egyptian minister, and this is what was reported by Al Jazeera. And then the second phase would see an international conference set out a detailed plan for restoring infrastructure and rebuilding Gaza. The second phase talks about conference setting out detailed plan and restoring infrastructure and rebuilding Gaza. So Al Jazeera is reporting on two primary issues, which is very much similar. It is all about building Gaza, rebuilding Gaza, removing the debris, and restoring infrastructure and rebuilding Gaza. That's all they are reporting, coming from again Al Jazeera. Now, it is important for us to understand Al Jazeera is a Qatari-based news channel. They are mainstream, and they have a lot of influence, especially in the Middle Eastern countries and also in Western countries. Now, this is from Al Jazeera. Now, what the Times of Israel is reporting. Take a look at this report. You'll not be able to see the whole thing because I cannot squeeze the whole thing. But I'm going to be reading it for you. So the first phase, they are writing, the Times of Israel, they wrote, the first phase will deal with reconstruction as well as demilitarization of Gaza terror groups, according to the report. Demilitarization. Okay, that is the keyword I want you to understand here. Why then Times of Israel is reporting that the first phase will involve demilitarization of the group Hamas, and not being reported by Al Jazeera is something I will discuss in a second. Then it says the source is quoted as saying that weapons will be stored under Egyptian and European supervision. Okay, under the European and the Egyptian supervision. Again, I'm sorry, I cannot squeeze the whole thing here. Times of Israel news site, they will not allow me to do that. So you can clearly see the difference in terms of these two articles, in terms of how they're writing it. Times of Israel, they are talking about Hamas along with reconstruction of Gaza. Al Jazeera is talking about just reconstruction of Gaza. Why? Let me actually explain to you with this particular article coming from this guy. His name is Hussein Abdel Hussein. Okay, this guy is a writer. He's a research fellow actually in DC, Washington, and he's originally from Iraq, as to what I understand. So he wrote, from left, leaders of Bahrain, Qatar, UAE, Saudi, Kuwait, Jordan, Egypt, plus Jordanian CP and UAE NSA met in Riyadh to discuss Egyptian plan for Gaza. So I want to actually show you the picture here. These Arab leaders, they met in Saudi Arabia, in Riyadh, to discuss about the Gaza plan. And this is what he has written about this whole meeting. Plan not out yet. Okay. Will likely be unveiled at Cairo Arab League Emergency Summit on March the 4th. Plan expected to promise enormous amount of Gulf money, up to 20 billion to Gaza. Egypt will certainly get a cut, and PA's Mahmoud Abbas will also get a bribe to buy him out of the plan. Again, coming from this guy, Hussein Abdul Hussein. Let's see what he's saying. The crux of the plan is this. In return for the enormous money to rebuild Gaza, both Hamas and Abbas will be out of Gaza. In their stead, a Palestinian governing body, the plan calls them technocrats, will be installed by the Arab League and put in charge of rebuilding Gaza physically and politically. This body will oversee reconstruction and make sure to keep out two things: PA's corruption and Hamas's wars. Funders, after all, want to make sure that all the billions they will invest will not be stolen or not be destroyed in yet another round of war with Israel. So he is basically saying people who will be rebuilding Gaza, they would want in no way, shape or form a war or corruption in Gaza and a war with Israel, because then the entire investment will be a big loss project, and this project will cost, according to some other estimation, $53 billion to build the entire Gaza. But again, he's talking about the Gazans have to be careful in terms of how the money will be spent on them, how to rebuild them, and the Gazans should not be making any decision about war with Israel if Israel is committing atrocities in Gaza. If Israel sends those fighter jets to bomb certain part of Gaza and saying or claiming that this was a terrorist operation or terror cell, or the hospitals were used by terrorists or Hamas, if Israel does go ahead and bomb Gaza ever again, then this whole investment thing will fall apart. So Israel cannot do anything. And of course, we know Israel can do everything because they don't care about laws. They don't care about investors. They don't care about anybody. So Israel, in other words, what I'm trying to get you at is this: Israel will do whatever it wants and call it self-defense. But Hamas or anyone from Gaza will not be able to respond, because if they do, then the investors will withdraw their fund and they will be like, well, we are not going to help you out with rebuilding of Gaza. See how these things are playing out? So even though Israel, United States will be out, looks like according to this plan, they are not going to be part of this rebuilding of Gaza, but they are not being contained. United States, especially Donald Trump, will not abide by anything. If he feels Israel will have to defend itself, if Israel needs more bombs, he will provide them with more bombs. And Netanyahu, I would say, for the most part, will not listen to Donald Trump's instruction in the future. Yes, Donald Trump is a man with his own mind, but I believe that Netanyahu still has the leverage over Donald Trump through the Zionist lobby to make him do things that Netanyahu so desperately wants. Now, because of this, even though Israel and USA could be out, but the main loser in this, to me, looks like in this rebuilding of Gaza is going to be the people of Gaza. Because if you do not protect, if you do not defend yourself from those lunatics, from the genocidal maniacs and their warplanes, then, I mean, you are at the mercy of the genocide maniacs one more time. And this time it's much worse because you cannot fight back, because you can do really nothing if you go with this rebuilding of Gaza plan. You see my point, right? Who will be on Gaza governing body? So this is what he's writing. Hussein, this is what he's writing. Who will be on the Gaza governing body to be anointed at the Arab League? Each of the leaders in the picture have Palestinians close to them. All of the leaders in the picture are on the same page against Islamism and support of peace, except for Qatar, pro-Islamism and anti-peace resistance. Qatar will likely get someone on the governing body, someone who is Islamist light, who is not Hamas, but maybe Hamas likes him. Everyone is perhaps reasoning that Arab consensus is required to edge Hamas and PA. President Trump's Gaza plan jump-started this Arab plan for the day after in Gaza and gave it good cover. It scared everyone into action and gave urgency and legitimacy to the Arab plan as an alternative to the plan to displace Palestinians. Between the two plans, both Hamas and Abbas will have to accept the Arab plan even if they hate it. But make no mistake, both Hamas and Abbas will do all they can to derail the Arab plan and take over once they deem enough of Gaza has been reconstructed. Well, I don't agree with this last assessment, but I do agree what he said about Qatar. basically right now the Arab plan is based on unified front or united front, where Qatar will have no problem with Egypt's proposal, or with Saudi's proposal, with Bahrain's proposal, with other Arab nations involved in this proposal. Qatar will have no problem, but Qatar will have problem, because it is quite obvious, if you leave Hamas at the mercy of the Zionists. Qatar knows what they did before October 7, because throughout the past several decades we have seen how Israeli Zionists, they were attacking, they were killing, they're committing genocide against the people of Gaza over and over again. And especially this genocide, the last one, that lasted 15 months, the Arab leaders did absolutely nothing. So why would Qatar trust Egypt, for example, that Sisi will take care if there is a genocide taking place again against the people of Gaza by Israel? What Egypt will do? Nothing. So what assurance or guarantee Qatar or Turkey or Iran they will have from these Arab nations that in the future when Gaza will be attacked, and they will be, because Zionists, they're not going anywhere. Smotrich, Ben-Gvir, all of these far-right extremist ministers, they made it absolutely clear their intention is to commit genocide in Gaza. And they will do it again and again and again and again until they kick out all the people from Gaza. What assurance Qatar, Turkey, and Iran will have that will make them feel comfortable with this kind of rebuilding of Gaza plan? I don't know. But for now, yes, these are out, these two parties, United States and Israel. But something that is definitely not a permanent solution for the region. Thank you guys for your comment. I see Truth Seeker. Thank you guys. Leslie. Hi, Leslie. Thank you so much. Thank you again for your comment. Martina, I'll see you in the next videos. Have a wonderful day.